So it is already 12:10. So it is that the Lord cannot have desire because of being Lord of everything. There is no possibility of desire. That is the 8th verse. Mahoksha khatvangam parashurajinam bhasma paninah kapalam chetiyat tava varat tantropakarnam surastam tam riddhim dadhati tu bhavadru pranihitam nahi swatma ramam Vishaya Mriga Trishna Brahmayati. Read the translation.
O giver of boons, a great bull, a wooden club, an axe, a tiger skin, ashes, a human skull, and the like. These are thy sole possessions, though by the mere casting of eyes thou gave to gods great treasures which they enjoy. Indeed, the mirage of sense objects cannot delude one whose delight is in the self.
Exactly. That the possessions, even in the image that we construe of Shiva, they are very important symbols. That all that are discarded things, that you find in the cremation ground just thrown away. So, those things are his possessions. In the moving along in the forest, found a skin of a dead animal, and then a skull. So these are your possessions. So there are many nice songs about that. Parvati's mother getting very upset that my daughter has chosen this fellow to get married with, who has nothing. It is, how can that my daughter be even fed? Just beggar. And look at how the appearance is. No clothing, just a skin. Some say an elephant skin that is putting on, or a tiger skin, whatever it is, the descriptions vary a little bit. So these things this is your glory, your possessions. But by mere glance, if you want, if one of your devotees wants lot of money, by mere glance you can give that devotee all the money that the person wants. That is your capability. Then why don't you have it for yourself? Because the person who is established in self does not feel that pull to these things at all. Nahi svatma ramam vishaya mriga trishna brahmayati. Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda ji used to just get into samadhi saying this line. Nahi svatma ramam vishaya mriga trishna brahmayati. And actually many have seen him in that state, that nothing, the food kept there, no particular attraction for anything, just eating, that's about it. No particular feeling of getting happiness from anything. It is, in fact, one of his disciples would say, the word enjoy was very painful to him. What is enjoy? You are joy. Enjoy means you want to get happiness by connecting to something which doesn't have happiness. So it is, that is why in the name of happiness we get pain. It is the source of happiness, you. So Vishaya Mrigatrishna Brahmayati, you know Mrigatrishna, that the mirage, there you see water, where actually there is no water. So it is, Mrigatrishna means it is, I don't know how true it is, but what is described is that the deer, they die like that, chasing that water, become thirsty and see that, oh, there is water, and so go on chasing, and the water, they don't find the water, it goes on receding further. So that is called Mrigatrishna. That similarly we, our condition is like that, Vishaya Mrigatrishna, feel that yes, that is happiness, let me get that. It is Mrigatrishna. We don't get it, and we get deluded by it, thinking that there is happiness in that. But Swatma Ramam, that if you have realized yourself, then you will never feel like that. It is, no attraction will be there for any of these things. You will move amongst the objects without getting attracted or repelled by them. You will lead a kind of apparently a normal life. But there is no attraction, no repulsion, no bondage for you. It is in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this state is described while describing the life of someone who is established in wisdom. Apuryamana pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kamakami. That a person of that steady wisdom, that person lives in this world and all eats like ordinary people, walks like ordinary people, sees like ordinary people. All the objects of sight and smell, they are getting into that person, but without causing the slightest titillation there, just as millions of streams, rivers, they are pouring their waters into the ocean, but that does not make the that level of water go up there. It is so, these things are just seen or heard or smelled. All those objects are going in, but those objects are not being craved for, nor are they held for. It is like that. So, nahi swatma ramam vishaya mrigatrishna brahmayati. There is no, the desire comes because of this delusion that there is something worth having there. It is that makes us go after it. And then we don't get the desired pleasure or happiness from it. So we feel cheated. And that fellow cheated me. And that object cheated me. And no, nobody cheated me except myself. My ignorance cheated me. It is nobody else betrayed me. But I myself betrayed myself, thinking that, well, I will get it from that object, it is, or that person. It is impossible, it doesn't contain it, so how can you get it from that? A very important thing. Nahi swatma ramam vishayam rigatrishna brahmayati. Those like us deluded in this world, and they therefore are running after to fulfill the purpose, their ideas of pleasure, and then they pray to God for that. Oh God, please give me this and give me that. And God says, okay, take it, what is there? Okay, learn from that. So it is, oh, you want money, okay, get it. It is, you want this pleasure, that, okay, get it. And then you see that you really haven't gotten anything worthwhile. But being Swatma Rama, the one, this word is so beautiful. Swatma Rama. Rama is that source of happiness is Rama. Swatma Rama, the one who has found the source of happiness in self, now doesn't need any object, does not get deluded by the promises that the objects make. No. We get deluded by promises even made by the credit card companies, and worse even by the governments, you see. It is, we know that they cannot be true, and yet we fall for them. So it is like that, those who are Swatma Rama, they do not get deluded. This is why Shiva is quite happy. Well, why you have only got this? If you work a little more, you can buy a nice clothing, and this little pot for begging, get some more, so that you don't have to beg. You will have nice clean plates. You can have a prestigious way of eating, And like you see, I was telling Sushmita and some others, look, she said, no, for Swamis we have special plate and a special bowl. Said, well, the food is same, that is not different. Only I have to lift a heavy plate. You have only the light plastic or thermocol bowl. I have a heavy plate, you say. I have to carry the heavy plate. See how better off you guys are. So it is. After all, nobody eats the plate. But then I have to carry heavier load than you people. So it is. Our ideas are different, that a nice place to live in, a palatial building to live in, a nice $1 million worth bed to sleep in. Now whether the sleeping is important or to have a $1 million worth bed, it is even the worries about it, this cost $1 million will not let you sleep on it.
Insured, who knows it? Probably not insured.
Not insured, yeah. So it is, you are worried it will get stolen. That is how it happens. It happens in our lives so much that we think that this will make my life happy and free from worries and so forth. But no, the worries keep on increasing with all that. It is one of our friends bought a big vehicle from Ramakrishna Mutt in Nagpur. It was a medical dispensary vehicle, and he said, no, I want that your vehicle. When you are selling, tell me, I will give 5,000 rupees more than the highest offer you get. I said, don't worry, but why you can use a small car? Why? No, I want this big vehicle. Then he described his experience after he bought it. What a horrible, harrowing experience he had. So much of suffering, no sleep, because that big vehicle cannot be parked or kept right in front of the house. He had to park somewhere. Then the parts may get stolen, so in the middle of the night he would go to see whether it is still there or not. So destroyed all sleep. And then because it was not being run, where to go taking that huge vehicle, So he decided, a lot of guests had come, very important guests, amongst them his in-laws, you see. So he decided that, well, let them be taken to a picnic place. And since the vehicle was sitting for a long time, the battery had died. So it wouldn't start. Everybody is in the car. Hey, you said your new vehicle. Is this the new vehicle you bought? And so it is all these very painful remarks of in-laws, it is. So it was all terrible, you see. So he said, well, so what we imagine that something will give pleasure, it is like that, a mirage. I thought that I will get happiness from it. It is so many women told me, I don't know, men keep quiet, that's all. Men also must be having similar feelings. But the women, they have big voice. So they said, the biggest mistake that I made in my life is to get married to this man. It is, and it lasts for 5 minutes, not that it lasts for any more. It is, but what the idea is, what you expect you don't get. That is what is called mirage. So, but the one who knows will not get deluded by this mirage. Nahi swatma ramam vishaya mrigatrishna brahmayati. So it is, and the next verse, it is that describes with some examples. Dhruvam kaschit sarvam sakalam parastva dhruvamidam paro dravya dravye jagati gadati vyasta vishaye Samasthevye tasmin puramadhana tairvismita iva stuvanjirremi tvam na khalu nanadrishta mukharata. So, it is, please read the translation.
O destroyer of Pura, some say that the whole universe is eternal, while others say that all is transitory. Yet others maintain that all these are eternal and non-eternal, having different characteristics. Bewildered, as it were, by them, I do not feel ashamed to praise thee. Indeed, this garrulity indicates my audacity.
Yeah, it is displeasing. Instead of getting deluded by hundreds of opinions, let us see that praise, and by the praise maybe God can say. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, and that if you want to know how much money Yadu Malik has, so make friends with him and ask, then he will tell how many those stocks he has, how many landed properties he has, and all that. Instead of just speculating about it, why don't you ask? Ask Lord directly, instead of getting all these varied opinions. Nana Munir Nana Mot. In Bengali they have saying that, and different people have different opinions, many contradictory opinions that, oh, this is the right thing. No, that is the right thing. Nobody really has figured out, but we think that is the right course, and so many opinions. It is already deluding my head. If you read, the logic is a very funny thing. It can take you to any conclusion that you want to reach. Every conclusion will be supported by logic. It is that is the fun of logic. It is there is a very nice book of mathematics by one Lakatos, Proofs and Refutations. I suggest those who want to work with logic systems and all that should read that book. That it is that the theorem he goes to prove, it is, and then after the proof is about the polygons, that Euler's theorem. There is a theorem connecting that is taken as example, connecting the faces and the edges and the vertices of this polyhedra. So it is now there is an Euler's proof, and the teacher is explaining that one student raises this objection. And when the objection is raised, you really, when you read that objection, you feel exactly, and this theorem is wrong. And the other student refutes that objection. Then other student again brings back the same objection. It is interesting to read, that how our logic can prove anything. That is why Jesus says, prove everything, hold fast to truth. Prove everything, whatever you want. It is, proof can be given for any. That you can see that those who are Democrats, that they will prove something, that this is how it is. And then those who are Republicans use the logic to disprove it. Whatever Republicans would say, again the Democrats would have their logicians to say, no, that is all wrong, that is all based on this. So all that, so it is, the logic is like that. So all this, how universe came about and how it is functioning, what is the supreme authority, whether God dwells in the heaven or wherever God dwells, it becomes heaven. The presentation can be made in various different ways. So do not, he says, so instead of getting into all these head-whirling ideas, I have decided to just pray to you. Why? Tavaishwaryam yatnad yadupari virinchi hariradha. In that book, is it Virincho or Virinchi? Virincho. I also knew that, but in this book it is Virinchi. It is Virincho is right. Virincho. Virincho. Yeah, that is what my rendition, and as I recite, I remember, is Virincho. Tavaishwaryam yatnad yadupari virincho hariradha. Parichetum yata vanal manal skandha pushah. Tato bhakti shraddha guru grinatyam girishayat. Swayam tasthe tabhyam tava kimanuvrittir navalati.
O Girisha, Brahma trying above and Vishnu trying below, failed to measure thee who took the form of a pillar of fire. Afterwards, when they praised thee with great devotion and faith, thou revealed thyself to them of thy own accord, indicating whether thy worship can go without bearing result.
Yeah, so read the footnotes are interesting here.
1. Brahma, etc. Referring to the story that Brahma and Vishnu once quarrelled between themselves as to who was greater. God Shiva then appeared before them in the form of a column of fire. Brahma and Vishnu tried to measure the body of Shiva to prove their respective supremacy, but both failed. At this, in all humility, they began to praise Shiva, who, being pleased with their prayer, revealed himself to them. 2. Afterwards accord. God is far away from those who approach him with pride and self-conceit, but he is easily realized by those who are humble and fearful.
So this is how that your glory, even when Vishnu and this Brahma, they tried to measure that it is that, and so they praised Brahma and Vishnu tried to measure. They failed. One tried to measure from the top, other tried to measure from the bottom. And then they failed to measure that how big Shiva is. So but their attempt was in a way rewarding, because then Shiva revealed to both of them that what is the greatness of Shiva. So it is something that God gives on one's own accord, that you pray, you request, that's about it. By your own prowess you can never get it. That, it is, there is that story of Kushalava holding Hanuman. Hanuman knew that they are sons of Rama. So after putting a mock fight, Hanuman allowed them, these two children, to bind him. And then Kushalava thought that, see, we did it. So it is, there is a Bengali song that Sri Ramakrishna used to say that, do not be too proud, Ore Kushalava. Why are you having this pride? Had I not myself let you tie, how could you have tied me? It is so God, out of grace, makes itself or himself reveal before us. We cannot measure and capture it. It is by the grace of God alone we get it. Our efforts only amount to the prayer that, I want it. It is once Swami Ishtananda, he was giving a nice lecture about grace and self-effort in providence. So he said, think of a little baby trying to climb the stair, somehow trying to hold the top of the step, is not able to. Again and again trying, but is not able to do. Now some old person, grown-up person sees that the child wants to go up, and then takes the child in the lap and climbs. So now obviously the effort of the child was not enough to climb the stair, but it was enough, because of that the grown-up person could see that the child wants to climb. So our efforts at prayer is like that. It depends on the yearning. So Sri Ramakrishna said, praying with yearning. Do you really want God? Then it will happen. If it is this type, oh, okay, if God realization comes, fine. If it doesn't comes, okay. It is, we are not that much concerned. It is religion or spiritual practice and all. If you look at our lives, we can see that it is not much on our priority list. It is our other things, they take precedence. Oh, okay, I wanted to go to that discourse, that retreat at the Vedanta Society, but I have to go to my friends, some program, some party he or she has arranged, so I have to go there. That takes precedence. It is, if there is nothing else to do, then okay, then anyway I am sitting idle at home and there is nothing very special on TV now, so let me go to the Vedanta Society. So it is a very low priority thing, that okay, yeah, after managing everything else, then if the time permits, then I will do that. It is, so if that priority is that low, then naturally there is not much yearning there. And so we do not get the grace of God. That God should shower grace on me. Well, do you really want the grace? Do we really want God? Many of us, if God knocks on the door, will not open the door for God. Oh, no. We will look through the hole. Oh, God is standing? No, not now. Maybe later. So it is, we don't have, because have that yearning, it is, we do not see God. But then if you have the yearning, if you put the effort, like this, Brahma and Vishnu put the efforts, and let me measure how much it is, could not measure. So, but they were putting in the efforts. And because of the sincerity of efforts, Lord said, okay, let me reveal myself to them, so that they will know what it is. So,
Is there any meaning of the word Virincha?
Virinchi is Brahma.
Is there a meaning?
Yeah.
Any,
I don't know. Virincha is Brahma.
Brahma.
Yeah. But there must be some root meaning. You know?
No.
You don't know the meaning of that, how the root meaning is. It is not given here either.
No.
So, but it is that who by thy worship can go without bearing result. It is, how can your worship go without bearing the result? It is then told about Ravana. He worshipped Shiva, so, and with great sincerity. Ravana was a very sincere worshipper, but his worship was with a purpose. See, the two things are different. Having a sincere worship, the demons do worship very sincerely because they are focused, they want something to be done. And so they will, for that thing they will do everything right to get it done. Many thieves, they are very good executions of the plan. They plan things very right to the last detail and execute it. So, but the purpose is bad, that's all. So Ravana also did the worship of Shiva with great sincerity. Ayadnadapadya tribhuvanam vairavyatikaram Dashasyo yadbahu navritaranakandu paravashan Shira padma shreni rachit charanam bhurupale Sthiraya swadbhakte Tripurhara hara vispurjitamidam. So, O destroyer of Tripura, this epithet comes again here.
O destroyer of Tripura, that the 10-headed Ravana, after ridding the 3 worlds of any trace of enemies, remained with arms eager for fresh war, is due to the fact of his having great devotion to thee, devotion which prompted him to offer his heads as lotuses to thy feet.
So, he worshipped, and not by buying lotuses from some grocery store, it is, but his own head. He had 10 of them, so offered them. That okay, 9 of them were offered for the worship of God. 10th, well, if he offered 10th, then there will be no worship possible. So, so 9 heads were chopped and offered. So that much devotion was there. And so what did he get? He got the lordship over the 3 worlds. And there was, the description is so good that it is Tribhuvanam avairam vyatikaram. No enemy was left in the 3 worlds to be conquered. All have been conquered by Ravana. It is, and still there was a lot of valor and power left for the wars to come. So how can he get all this? Because he was worshipping you. Through your worship he got so much. But the worship was very sincerely done. Some verses come about it later also. But what happens then? You got the greatness. Now you forget because of whose grace you got the greatness. And you try to fight with that to show that I am better than you are. So, and then you have really no capacity, no capability at all. That is the next verse. Amushyatvat seva samadhigata saram bhujavanam balat kailasevi tvadadivasato vikramayatah alabhya patale pirachalitangushta shirasi pratishtha tvayase dhruvamvachito muhyati khala. Read the translation.
When Ravana extended the valor of his arms, whose strength was obtained by worshipping thee, to Kailasa, thy abode, thou moved the tip of thy toe, and he didn't get a resting place even in the netherworld. Verily, when affluent, the wicked becomes deluded.
Read the footnote.
1. Ravana, etc. Ravana thought that instead of going to Kailas every day for the worship of Shiva, he would pull down Kailas and place that in his kingdom. When he attempted that, Parvati, the consort of Shiva, became alarmed. At this, Shiva moved the tip of his toe, and Ravana was thrown away from heaven to the netherworld. Even there, his stay would have been impossible had not Shiva taken pity on him and lifted him up. Deluded, the wicked persons, on getting a good position in life, become ungrateful to the persons through whose help their success was achieved.
So, and it happens like that because of grace of somebody you get that glory. And but you want to go more than the one, become more than the one who gave it to you. So Ravana got all this glory and decided, well, I want to worship Shiva, but why should I go that far? Let me pull Shiva here. And then this whole attempt was gone when Shiva had to just move his toe a little bit to keep the Kailasa intact. What that Shiva had to do? Just press the toe slightly, and then that Ravana could not only could not pull Kailasa, he did not get place to run away from this wrath. So could not find even place in Patala. Alabhya Patale api. It is even in the nether world could not find room, except by the grace of Shiva said, okay, stay there, no problem. Be careful how you get it there. Like that Punarmushako Bhava, that story, a little mouse was being chased by the cat, and so a sage took pity on it and said, okay, I will make you a bigger cat. And like that it became a tiger and was staying, and all the people would say, look, this sage made the this tiger from this mouse. It was a mouse, now has become tiger. So listening to all this prattle, the mouse tiger became upset, and as long as this sage is living, I will have to keep on hearing this. So let me finish off this sage. And so attacked the sage. And then the sage said, Punarmushako Bhava, become the mousey again that you were. So again became the mouse. So that is how we get lot of things, but forget from where and how we got it in life. So that is how we get puffed up by our achievements, think that we got them by our own prowess. I was like that, therefore I got it. So we forget that it was the grace of Lord that alone made it possible for us. Well, we will skip this verse because we cannot complete all these. So we will now choose some and drop some. It is we will recite this 14th one, which is very important from many points of view. It is very interesting, very poetic. अकांड ब्रह्मांड क्षय चकित देवासुर कृपा विधेयस्यासीर्यस्त्रिनयन विषम संहृतवत सकलमाश कंठे तव न कुरुते न श्रियमहो विकारोऽपि श्लाघ्यो भुवन भयभंग व्यसनिनः.
O three-eyed one, it is not that the dark stain on the throat of he who drank poison as an act of favor to gods and demons, at their being panicky at the threatened destruction of the universe, all on a sudden, has not beautified thee. Even deformity is admirable in one who is given to fleeing the world of fear.
Yeah, it is Vikaropi Shlaghyo, that is, these are the words. It is that even deformity is admirable in one who is given to freeing the world of fear. It is freeing the world of fear, that is bhuvana bhaya bhanga vyasaninaha. See, this refers to the three-eyed one, that is one of the forms of Shiva, that is a very poetic description, three eyes. And we normally have these two eyes. We lack the third eye, that is called the eye of knowledge. We have two eyes. These two eyes, what do we see with those? That which doesn't exist. That which is unreal is seen by the two eyes. So really we don't see that is, but that which is not. So they are not really the right eyes at all. They should not be called eyes even. But with the third eye, which makes us see the truth, it is the third eye of Shiva makes us see that which is the substratum of all. And thus this world its realism gets destroyed by that. It is, these are just names and forms, they come and go. And the Lord is the reality. The third eye makes Shiva see that. And therefore, the perception of Shiva is the right perception. And with only the two eyes, it is a wrong perception. Unreal is seen as real. So, Shiva's perception with three eyes, three nayana. So the world is gone. It is therefore figuratively shown, that in movies and all about Shiva destroying the world. The whole world is destroyed when opens his eye of knowledge. The whole world gets destroyed. It is shown as if flames are coming from the third eye, and very funny. That is not the idea actually. The knowledge, when knowledge comes, these names and forms disappear. Their value disappears. It is the little babies, they value the names and forms of animal crackers. That yes, I want to eat elephant. Yesterday I had eaten a mouse. Today I want to eat elephant. When you grow up, then they are all same. The value is not given to those names and forms anymore. You will see them, but you know that what is elephant is same as a mouse. It is, it doesn't matter. So that is the idea of the third eye, that you see the common substance that pervades all the changing, really non-existent names and forms. So this is where you see the big difference. Shiva opens the third eye, with that he sees all that. And then, yet, because of that knowledge, that the compassion is not then selective. Mine are treated differently than the others. That is how we see in the world that our compassion, our good feelings are limited, It is, but for Shiva, everybody is treated with that enormous compassion. So, when these the demigods and demons, they started churning the ocean, that poison came out. And that poison was so terrible that it was causing the destruction of the whole universe. Now Shiva had no problem whether it is or it is not, who cares, So, but these all the demigods, and they rushed to Shiva, who will save us, please save us from this poison. And Shiva said, okay, and so drank the poison. And so the poison was so terrible, Shiva also did not take it in the stomach, held it in the throat, so that it will not have any poisonous effect. But the throat developed a blue this thing, so he got the name Nilakantha. They blue neck ones. Here we have red necks and all that. Shiva is blue necked. He wears a blue necklace. So it is that, and what, although it doesn't, it is a blemish on that blue spot, dark spot, doesn't probably look good, and somebody else would have liked to cover it, but Shiva doesn't cover it. Why? Vikaropi shlaghyo, that even though it is a vikar, it is a deformity. That is how it is translated. It is a deformity. That coloration has come there, pigmentation, it is. But because it came in a glorious, very charitable work, then since it is connected with that, it became a matter of glory. Now suppose somebody has a cut, scar, big scar, then it is not good to look at, we'll try to cover it. But if that fellow has got that scar in a battle where he had shown tremendous valor and has been therefore awarded with some big medal, that this is for your heroism, then will that fellow not be proud of that? Will show, this scar you look is because of this. So vikar is shlaghya. If he has gotten the same vikar because when he was trying to steal something and got arrested and put in the jail, then it is a matter of shame, so will not like to show it. But for Shiva, that blue is indicative of some valorous, some great glorifying act. So, vikaropi shlaghyo bhuvana bhaya bhanga vyasaninaha, very beautiful word. What is your vyasana means addiction. Shiva's addiction is to remove the fear of the world. The fear of the universe is removed by Shiva. That is the job of Shiva that he loves to do, removes the fear. Those who think of Shiva as the drinker of bhang, it is that they distort the meaning of this verse. They want to drink bhang, that opium drink. So, but how can they drink opium? It is bad. No, Shiva drinks it. So we take it as prasad of Shiva. Where do you know that Shiva drinks it? See, it is bhuvana bhaya bhanga vyasaninaha. They break the word, bhuvana bhaya and Bhanga Vyasanina. They put it like that. So it is. And so Shiva, who has the Vyasana, addiction to Bhang. Now how can Shiva have an addiction to Bhang? Don't ask, it is written in the scripture, Shivamahimna Stotra. This is the highest authority about Shiva. It says that Bhuvana Bhaya Bhanga Vyasaninaha, because Shiva destroys the whole world. Bhuvana Bhaya, he is the fear of the whole world, and has the addiction to Bhang. Actually, there is no such thing. Shiva doesn't need all these addictions. It is we want to indulge in that. So that is the problem with human beings. So we want to be religious also. So associate somehow with God, and then it all gets as if sanctified. It is. So that is how this word Bhuvana Bhaya Bhanga Vyasaninaha, associate with Shiva and the fear will be gone. And that is the meaning of it. So he drank the whole poison to rescue this world from it. This is, see, even now Shiva does that. Whole poison of our addiction to this world, that is the poison. And that when you think of Shiva, that is removed. Shiva takes it. And we will discuss. Now I think I have exceeded that time by a few minutes. So we shall conclude this session. Next one is 2:30. Okay. So till then, lot of nice food and rest. Om Namah Shivaya Shantaya Karanatraya Hetave Nivedayami Chatmanam Tvam Gati Parameshwara.